Sharon Kozakowski with Safe and Sound. And what I would like to introduce today is the moderator of a panel. These are all former gang members. And one of the things we're certainly learning in this anti-gang summit is that we need to gain a greater understanding of gangs, and what better source than those who have been in gangs, understand the dynamics, the motivations, and have gone through the process of disengaging with gangs. First of all, I'd like to introduce the moderator, and I can tell you his name is Lawton Merritt. He has affected in a very positive way many at-risk and high-risk youth in the city of Milwaukee. Lawton is, as the moderator, they will help us understand, first of all, what is the fascination, the lure that draws and drew them into gangs, what sort of vulnerabilities and impressionabilities these youth have. And through the years, Lawton is now running programs in several Milwaukee public schools, the city of Milwaukee public schools, including a new program called From the Hood to Destiny, and another called Advance Your Swagger. So, you know, there's a certain language that appeals to youth. He's also the founder and the CEO of Little Johnny Ministries, the author of a novel, and Little Johnny on the Block, that has been used effectively in many of our safe places. The panelists with Lawton today are also former gang members who are now leading highly productive lives. Stan Cole, Mariano Kias at the end, and Tori Johnson, who was one of our speakers yesterday. Now they will share insights on youth engagement as well as their own journey of disengagement. I'd like to remind you also to, at the end, to fill out the evaluation and to leave it at the end of the table. Thank you so much.
Well, she passed the mic and just like with the NBA, let's get it started. Y'all ready to get it started? I don't know how y'all been feeling about all this. There's been a lot of information hit from a lot of different angles, but we're going to make it interesting and hit it from some different views and opinions. First of all, who here got a good memory? Now, when I ask the little shorties, I get a better response than that. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to test your memory. We're going to do a little memory drill. We're going to kind of loosen up a little bit. Because sometimes you come to these conventions, you get bored, you know, you want to fall asleep, you know, and all those type of things. So I got to make sure that you active, that you're ready to go. If you're ready to go, clap 2 times. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to introduce 10 different things that I'm going to have you memorize in less than 3 minutes. If you're ready, clap 2 times. Okay, that's my way I see if you focusing. All right, here we go. First thing is pole. Second thing is shoes. Third is tricycle. Don't write it down. Fourth is car. 5 is hand. 6 is sticks. 7 is heaven. 8 is skate. 9 is cats. 10 is pen. If you think you got it, clap 2 times. I count a week. And these parts, wait a minute, is this the law enforcement individuals right here? I thought you guys, okay, all right. Here we go. Now, like a master hypnotist, I'm going to plant each one of those things into your mind. 1 pole, 2 shoes, 3 tricycle, 4 car, 5 glove, 6 sticks, 7 heaven, 8 skate, 9 cat, 10 pen. Now, if you think you got to clap 2 times. That was so weak. But guess what? I'm going to test you. Get to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heaven.
Pen.
All right. I'll tell you, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do it backwards. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why is 3 tricycle?
Because 3.
Okay. Why is 9 cat? But do they really? Okay, we'll answer this here then. Why is 2 shoes?
2 feet.
2 feet. There was a man that thought he had it bad because he didn't have any shoes until he met a man that didn't have any feet. So if you got 2 feet, clap 2 times. Okay, right. It could be worse. All right. Now, why is 7 heaven? It rhymes. Okay. Now, with that said, you know, my name is Lawton Merritt. And I just believe in, you know, a little humor, you know, sometimes, you know, even though it's a very serious issue. We in some very serious times. It's not a game by any means. We've seen thousands of our young people to bad choices for a lot of reasons. You know, so first of all, I make it no secret, I've lived a very criminal, dangerous, and corrupt lifestyle. I've lived over 30 years being gang affiliated, you know, being involved deep in the pimp game and hustling, dope dealing. I was born and raised in Chicago, Illinois on the west side. So I've been around vice lords and hustlers and gangsters ever since I was like 9 years old. You know, this is the environment, the backdrop in which I grew up around. You know, many of my friends, they still gang affiliated. You know, even though I personally, you know, do not involve myself in the activity, but at the same time, it's still also a part of who I am. And I just want to make it very clear that because of that lifestyle I live, you know, it sent me down a very, very turbulent and very trying experiences. I went to prison 2 times. Altogether, I spent 8 years in penal institutions. Moved from Chicago here in the 80s, just like a lot of the brothers from Chicago. We moved, I call it, with the crime wave. We came to Milwaukee with the intention to get some money. And many of us, we did that. But then a lot of my friends, they in prison doing 120 years and, you know, a lot of life bits and, you know, due to some of them choices that they made. They weren't able to come out of it. By the grace of God, I was. So because of that very turbulent lifestyle, 1998, I was under indictment by the Secret Service. You know, I was involved with a lot of things, drug dealing, counterfeit ring, you know, I was sending ladies in the banks, you know, I was, you know, a very, very corrupt, dangerous type of individual, you know, and the process of that, the Secret Service came in, Ed Rooney, special agent of the Secret Service, you know, he personally had a vested interest in, you know, my takedown. I was indicted, I was sent to the prison again in 1998, but this time something happened different. 4 weeks later, began writing a book. Who would ever imagine me writing a book? I got kicked out of school. I ain't like books. I ain't like to read. Definitely like English. You know, so now I began to write a book. It wasn't easy. This was a very, very trying process. You're talking about a guy that, you know, didn't even read. So at the same time, a lot of it was self-taught. You know, I went to the library, started taking other, you know, different books, taking a look at their writing style. I said, well, you know what? My style's different. I'm from the block. I got a different way that I'm going to communicate my story. This story is a story that many, many other individuals go through. You know, this tells about a story of an individual in Milwaukee that lives from the backdrop of gangs, you know, his brothers and the influence that he had. You know, so this book tells about a lot of different things that happen in urban environments, you know, and how we make sense out of it, the money, the murder, the gangs, the dysfunctional families, and many different things that happen. But it kind of like also humanizes the character and shows that in the midst of all that, many of the things that the character goes through we all can relate to as well. So from that book, who would ever imagine that that book would be used for the backdrop of teaching? I connected with Dr. Pavlik and Dr. Lisa Cardrone Stewart at Marquette University, and they helped me co-write this book. So now this is a workbook of curriculum, which from this novel which talks about the many, many different dysfunctions, and saying, okay, now from there, we're going to say, let's talk about it. See, in many ways, there's a lot of issues that unfortunately our youth are dealing with today. You know, not just gangs, but money, murder, violence, drugs, you know, abuse. You know, many of our youth are severely damaged. You know, they go through and see a lot of different things. Unfortunately, it shouldn't have to be that way, but that's the reality that they have and that they live. So what happens is, this says, well, let's give them opportunity to voice what they're thinking. Many times we don't ask you what you think. What you think about being gay and what you think about wearing gold teeth? Well, why is tattoos hot? Well, you know, why do you sag your pants? You know, and on. What we do is we see it and we attack that issue. Oh, your pants is sagging. Oh, you this, you that. You know, so right away we go and we attack it and say, well, okay, well, what else are you? I remember a young guy when he got out of Wales, you know, and he walked up to me and he said, you know, what up, man? You know, I'm a crip. I said, man, I thought you was folks. You know, in other words, you flipped. I thought you was something else. But then I came to him, I said, but what else are you? And a lot of times we don't ask those type of questions. But what else are you? You know, you're a loving son. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe, you know, you have mechanical skills. Sometimes we don't look at those aspects. So that's what this book does. It gives them opportunity to say, well, let's talk about some of the different things that are important to you. Let's validate what you think. Because there's a validation in the experiences that a person goes through. Whether it's been gang affiliated, or whether it's been drugs, whether it's been abuse, or whatever, there's still a value that could be pulled out of that. There's still different experiences that could be cultivated. Sometimes it's hard to see that when you hear other different doctrines. It's hard to see that when you hear other different paradigms of thought and systems. So it's very refreshing for me to be here and to be asked to facilitate this group. It's very refreshing for different reasons, because I understand, you know, how society, how law enforcement, a lot of ways view the subject of gangs. I'm very clear. It's not my first conference. I know how it is. I know the paradigm. I know the view. So it's very refreshing to see a conference like this. They're saying, well, let's hit a more holistic view. Let's touch on it from some other different views. And that's why this is important. Disengagement. Well, now an individual like myself would have imagined I'd be sitting back in front of individuals where you're walking in with pistols everywhere, you know, and 9mm, you know, if you got a case or something, you have to be very careful. You don't want to come up in here. You know, I don't know, you're in 7th district or, man, you know, man, whoo, this could be a very scary place. You know what I mean? With those who not legit, you know, and those who have a contempt for authority, a contempt for law. And there's many views I have on this subject. I'm very, very, very vocal. It's a lot of perspectives that I have on this subject. You know, so that's why I'm honored to be here. When I see you individuals coming to this workshop, it makes me think, well, obviously you have a heart as well, because you chose this workshop. You obviously know how to read. You read Disengagement. You sure obviously know what that means. So you have obviously a concern to say that, you know, well, what strategies could be used? You know, how can we, as a result, save, you know, our youth? You know, what other alternatives are there to just incarceration, or just to annihilate them, kill them? Say they're gang members, they're lepers, attack them, destroy them. You know, there's obviously other, you know, alternatives, you know, and so it's very, very hopeful to see this, and I'm very pleased to know that, you know, the Attorney General and, you know, different individuals who put this together are very conscious of that, and that's a good thing. That gives hope.